When I first came to the USA, I realized that approaching strangers in public was completely different than when you do it or how you do it in Iceland, especially women. In Iceland, we don't talk to strangers in the clothing store or the grocery store or at the mall or at the gym. We just don't strike off a conversation with people who are strangers. But in the USA, it works completely opposite. Americans are so nice and they're so talkative that it's just normal to engage a conversation with a stranger. And also at the time, I want to step my game up a little bit about on the women front. And I realized that, oh shit, I had to approach women in public that were strangers. And I just that thought only because I was raised in a culture when you don't do that, that was so freaking scary. So I remember this moment where I was in West Hollywood sitting at a cafe spot, and I've been thinking about this and putting into action of talking to strangers, especially women that I was attracted to. And then this beautiful, attractive woman was sitting at the table next to me. And I remember I just started sweating. I was just like, I have to talk to her because I made a commitment. And I was looking at her and I was, wanted to talk to her and thinking about what I should say and how I should say it and how I should start the conversation. And I was so afraid because I was not used to it. And this is like 3 years ago. And then finally, after like 30 minutes, I striked out the conversation. I said something I thought she was really pretty and asked her for on Instagram, and then I just left. And I remember how glad I was, not because independently from if she would even respond or follow me back or everything, but more that I just put in the action of talking to somebody. And ever since then, I've mastered the skill of talking to strangers, no matter it's for an attractive woman that I want to maybe take on a date, or if it's a person that I want to learn from, or it's a person I want to get, see some opportunities for, or like a friend or whatever. And I've mastered that skill for the past 3 years or so. And I thought a lot about it, and I want to talk about today some tools and tricks I have used to approach anyone without being awkward in a setting where you don't know people and it's a stranger, and how you do that. And I want to talk about a couple of ways to do that. First, like practical ways, and then 3 like confidence boosters when you do so. So the first part, which is really important but maybe less emphasized on the conversation itself, when approaching strangers, you don't need confidence, you need environments that are easy for you to interact in. What I mean by that is that you have to identify your interests and values and then go consistently to those places. Maybe it's a coffee house, a wellness event, a library, it's the same grocery shop, and you just have to go there and spend time in there. And the reason why I say you have to do something that aligns with your values and interests is because you're going to feel more comfortable and confident in those scenarios. So if you are in a bookstore and you're interested in books, then you're more likely to be able to engage in a conversation about books. And guess what? The person that is also there, she or he is also more likely to have similar values or interests as you. So you actually have a natural conversational openness for you, and the conversation is probably going to be great because not only are you in your element and doing what you're interested and valued for, but also the person that is there as well is most likely doing the same. And if you don't get any connections or you get rejections or whatever, at least you are doing something that you value and you're interested in. So being in environments where you naturally flourish, and it's like doubling down on your strength, that makes you feel more confident and comfortable to strike up a conversation with people. So identify these places and show up consistently. That's the first step. The second step, which is really important, is that overthinking kills more conversation than rejection ever will. What do I mean by that? When you see somebody and you want to approach them, the worst thing you can do is to stay in your head, thinking about oh, what should I say? How should I say it? How should I go about it? When should I do it? How will they respond? And then you're thinking about it for the next 50 minutes, oh, are they leaving? Should I do it now? Should I do it later? And then you kind of are just doing your thing, but still focusing on and like looking at the person once in a while, looking again, and you are just like a creep. So that's the worst thing. You have to go out of your head and straight into action. It doesn't matter. You can have something planned to say, which gets me to I'll talk about conversational starters in the next point. You can have something to say about, like, you want to give them a compliment, you're going to mention something in the context, but you just have to say 3, 2, 1 and go for it, because it depends way less on what you say and how much more on the energy and presence you will give that person in that interactions. And just if you trust yourself, something magical will come up when you are about to approach that person. And yeah, and the worst thing that can happen is that you will get rejected, and that's fine, and that's the part of the game. If you want to achieve any kind of success in this life, you have to face and endure rejections. You're going to be rejected most of the times, but there will be a moment when this conversation, you won't get rejected, and maybe of 100 conversations, 99 rejections, one don't get rejected, and that conversation will spiral into you being your next partner, being your next business partner, being your best next friend, etc. So you have to have the courage just to go out of your head and have the conversation. And when you have the conversation, but getting out of your own head, this is when you approach strangers, especially someone you're attracted to or that you put on some pedestal. Imagine that you're talking to a 300-pound whale. And the reason I say that, because when you put somebody on a pedestal before talking to them, you are going to start overthinking what to say and how to say it and when to approach and all of that. And they're going to feel your just desperate energy when you're talking to them. If you're talking to a woman that you're really attracted to, she will sniff your desperation like this. If you're talking to some high impact figure and they feel like they only want to get something from them, they will sniff it out like this. You want to talk to them like a human being. And the best way to do that is to imagine that you're talking to a 300-pound whale, because Sam Harris told recently about this. He's like, I don't know, 65 or something, and he's pretty old, and he said something bizarre happened to him. So he was eating at a restaurant and he treated some woman just like she was a waiter. So he said just, "Hi, how's it going? Good evening." And just talked to her like she was the waiter. And then what happens is he's eating his food, and I believe Sam Harris has family or something, maybe he was with his friends. And after like an hour or something, this woman comes with a napkin with her name and phone number and gave it to Sam Harris. And Sam Harris said it was the most bizarre experience he had. But the reason why this happened was because Sam Harris treated her like every normal human being. She didn't put that woman on a pedestal. She didn't like overthink what to say and how to say it. It was just being himself with this person that was extremely attractive when you're talking to strangers. So, and when you imagine that you're talking to a 300-pound whale, that exactly will happen. You will talk to this human being without any other pressures or your imagination of how this person is on a higher pedestal than you, and you talk with them on a human level, and that gives them the energy that they will definitely like in terms of how you show up for them. So I think that's this is a challenge that I've grappled with, because I talk to most people like they're just human beings. But then when I see a super attractive woman, I tend to start to overthink, like, oh, what should I say? How should I say it? And ironically, that doesn't work out, because they sniff that I'm more insecure than if I was just talking to them as human beings. And I've progressed a lot in that front. And when I just talk to attractive people as human beings, magic tends to happen. So wipe out whatever you think about this person and just think this is a normal person. Engage with the conversation like you're talking to a normal human being. Now to the conversational starters. The best and easiest conversational starters are not in your head, they're in your environment. Wherever you are, instead of thinking about the perfect question and asking the people, note something in your environment. If you're in a coffee shop, ask like, when you see a person, ask like what their favorite orders is in the coffee house. Do they like black coffee? Do they like matcha latte? Ask them what brings them to the coffee place. If you're going out in or outside the gym and somebody's walking beneath you, like, what are you hitting today? Oh, you're hitting chest. What is your favorite chest exercise? At the grocery store, like, what is your favorite thing to buy in the grocery store? Or what are you grocerying for today? So using the context or your environment as conversational starter is the best technique to start the conversation with strangers. So that's way better than trying to think about some questions to ask this person. You can simply note something in the environment and then ask them a question about something in the environment. And that's going to be a great conversational starter for you. And as they start to talk, you can use your curiosity to ask more. Like I just mentioned with the gym example, I'm gonna do push today. Yeah, okay, well, what is your favorite push exercise? Shoulders. Oh, why? Okay, what shoulder exercise is your favorite? Yeah, and then you can like take the conversation from there. And you want to listen very carefully and then ask curious questions. That's how you talk to everybody. You mention the context, you ask questions about the context, you listen, and then you're curious, and then you repeat that loop. Fourthly, just keep it short. Your goal is not to impress, your goal is just to have a conversation in 60 seconds. So when you approach strangers, just have the intention of keeping it short, because you don't know what other people are doing. They're probably busy, they're probably working on something else, they're probably stressed, they're probably thinking about their own world and their own lives, and just want to keep the conversation really, really stuck. Unless you feel like there's a good energy and natural energy, then you maybe can complete it further. But if you're approaching someone in the first time, just have the brief conversation, use the context, ask some questions, whatever. Then when you have talked for a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes, then just ask like, hey, I don't want to interrupt you or take more of your time. I'm gonna leave. What is the best way to connect? If you feel the energy is there. And then they'll say, well, I don't know, Instagram or my phone. And then you ask for the phone number or whatever it works for you. And then you go. Because you want to keep it short, you don't want to interrupt them the whole day, and that's going to just make you also more attractive because you feel like you're less needy, and you just go on and do your thing, and that's going to be also really, really attractive. And just remember that you're playing the long-term game, you're not playing the short-term game. So you're not trying to let this person be your friend or business partner or your life partner in one conversation. That's going to accumulate over many conversations, and you just need to get your foot into the door. So you want to leave that good impressions when you do that. And then just, repeat those steps as often as possible. Like go to the environment that aligns with your values and interests. Go out of your head and approach the person. Use context as a conversational starters, and then listen and ask curious questions, and then keep the conversation quick. And I want to end up by talking about 3 confidence tricks when approaching strangers. And the first one is when you're approaching strangers, stop putting the pressure on the conversation. Just think that you're giving them something, a presence, energy, curiosity, whatever. Wipe out everything, every outcome from the conversation. You're not going into a conversation to get people's Instagram, to get them to be your partner, to get them to be your friend, to get opportunities from people. Wipe that out. Just go with the intention that you're going to give this person something. You're gonna make their day a little bit better. You're gonna give them a little bit of joy. You're gonna give them a little bit of interest, and people love talking about themselves. And just come with the energy of giving, because you don't want to come with the energy that they feel like I told you before. They feel like if it's more than just giving and that you're trying to get something out of the conversation, they will feel it and that will be unattractive, and you're playing the short-term game, then it's not gonna work out for you. But if you're playing the long-term game, you just come in the conversation with giving. You're not going to connect with the person to get something. And that's going to revolutionize your connections. Take the pressure off the conversation. This is one of the best confidence tricks when approaching strangers or doing something new. Next time you're approaching strangers, going to a date, going to a job interview, instead of thinking will they like me? Think, will I like them? Because that takes you from your head and assessing if you're doing things rightly or wrongly, and how you're being perceived, into perceiving the other person and attending to the other person. And what happens when you're attending to the other person, you become less self-conscious, and you'll be more confident because you're not looping in your mind. And that's going to make you way more confident in realizing that you are the prize in every social situation you go in. If they reject you, their loss. You are the prize, and if you go into the conversation with that confidence, people are going to feel that. And you are not auditioning for their life, they are auditioning for yours. And if you have that mindset, you will be extremely confident, and people will notice that confidence in social situations. Last one, rejection isn't failure, it's a proof that you're playing the game. You just have to put in the reps. And if you're afraid to talk to strangers because you're afraid of rejections, you're out of the game. If you are doing it and you're consistently putting in the rep and you're facing some rejections, you are in the game. And I know one thing, that if you don't give up, if you keep going despite the rejections and you endure rejections, you will succeed at the end. Remember, you only need one yes that could change the course of your life. 100 goals you approach, 99 no, one yes, that's a win. 100 jobs you apply for, 99 no, one yes, that's a win. And I can keep on going and going and going. And there's no way around it. No rejection, no success. So you have to take action. You have to go out in the world. And I know rejections are hard and painful. And maybe you should just create a group with your bunch of friends, which is the rejection of the day or rejection of the week, and start laughing at the rejections and view them as a necessary part of the way for you to succeed. And text them like, look at what rejection I got today. I approached this girl in a coffee shop and she didn't even say hi to me, whatever. Just like make fun out of it. Celebrate rejections, because that's the only way you are going to succeed. So I hope this was helpful. This has helped me a lot in my approaching to strangers and my learning from being from Iceland to coming to the US. And I'm hoping that this will help you too. Otherwise, just reach out if you have any questions. But thank you for being here. Thank you for giving this time and attention. I appreciate you all. And yeah, keep going. Appreciate you.